Good morning, everyone, and welcome. What we want to talk to you today about is really exciting. Really exciting. This right here is amazingly exciting. Our firm has been at this for over 12 years, and today is a really big day for us. We've been waiting to celebrate this for a long time. We're honored to have many special guests here today, but two in particular, King County Executive Dow Constantine and Mayor Jenny Durkan. Thank you for being here today, and we appreciate your attendance. Governor Inslee has been a strong supporter of SLI, and he's busy today, but he's represented by Simon Villa, and he's here today. Simon, thank you for attending. As we get ready to break ground on this project, we've actually broken ground, but as we get ready to announce the groundbreaking of this very special building, it's important to take a breath and acknowledge that this site was actually the home of the Coastal Salish people. And the indigenous people of our country had a way of dealing with the environment that resonates with our product and with 303 Battery. And so we're excited to follow in that kind of respect for our environment and our community. As we begin this program, we'd also like to acknowledge that this site is in the 36th Legislative District, which is represented by Senator Rubin. And Senator Carlisle has led the state in carbon reduction policy, including the Climate Commitment Act, which is a very important piece of legislation that just passed that SLI supported at its outset. We're grateful for everyone's help in setting up this event, and I'm going to try and stay on script. For those who know me, that's almost impossible, just so that everybody here knows I can stay inside the lines. The most important thing we want to communicate today to all of you and many others is thank you. We wouldn't have been able to do what we've done without the help of literally thousands of people in this community over a very, very long time. One of those founding members of supporting this idea was my partner, Mark Warman. Collins Warman, our architectural company here in town, we just had our 33rd birthday in March, and that company has been the backstop for this idea since we began in 2008. We can't thank everyone without thanking the people that work for SLI, our factory workers, our design teams, our production teams, our construction team, our finance team, our business development team. Everyone's done a fantastic job, not only on 303 Battery, but on our pipeline, which is up and down the West Coast as we scale our business. When SLI started over 12 years ago, we had a few goals in mind. We wanted to build a building in half the time. We wanted to take half the energy and half the water. We wanted it to be a beautiful place to live, and we wanted to make a difference in our community. We started this process by thinking about the inside first. The inside of an SLI apartment is filled with natural light. It has natural light not only in the living space, but in the kitchen and the bathroom. We have a sliding glass wall that allows every unit to have access to the outdoors. And we think we can pull off a version of indoor-outdoor living, which we think is really important for people and their health and their state of being. As we figured out what we wanted to make, it became clear to us that we needed to start from scratch, that everything about the built environment was not going to get this to work. So we started from scratch. As we did that, we came to the next conclusion that we needed to manufacture this like an airplane or a car, that you could not build this building in a traditional way. And what you see behind me is the first time that's ever been done in America, is manufacturing something at scale that will go together and create the buildings that we're going to talk about today. From where we are today, we kept expanding and innovating and expanding and innovative. Today, we have 126 global patents in 40 countries. We are the only patented complete building system ever patented in the United States of America. We have a factory in Tacoma, 60 employees, a pipeline of projects up and down the West Coast that represents over $2 billion in revenue. And so here we stand, ready to announce the world's first net zero energy apartment high-rise in the world. Pretty exciting. Long road to get here. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that everybody understands what it took to do this. So I'm going to introduce Jeremy Epps. He works for us in the factory in Tacoma. His picture's around on the corner. Jeremy's going to come up here in a minute. But as we all know, the last year's not been easy. We have been building while the site is just breaking ground. 85% of the walls, the floors, the elevators, the stairs are already done, and they're sitting in our yard in Tacoma waiting for this site to be ready to erect this building. Jeremy and the team in the factory have had a hard road to hoe. COVID has not made that task easy. We were shut down for 90 days, and we made sure that everyone stayed paid. And as we came out of COVID, one of the things that's really important about how we do this is there's no roadmap for this. The way you do this is you work the problem, you learn from what you did, and you do it again and again and again and again. And if you keep at it long enough, you finally get something that actually is going to make a difference. So let me tell you a little bit about Jeremy. Jeremy's been in our employment since we started. Jeremy is an Iraqi war vet. He spent 30 months in Iraq. Jeremy, thank you for your service. And I thought it would be great for everyone to hear from him. If you want to do a selfie with Jeremy next to his picture, he's going to be available for that at the end of today's program. So Jeremy.
Thank you for that, Arlen. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. I have to first say it's an honor to be up here with these faces here. You know, this is new for me, but I am very honored to share stage with Mayor Durkin and County Executive Constantine. And as Arlen said, I did spend 8 years in the Army, 2 years in Iraq. It was a great experience. Wouldn't want to do it again, but I'll never regret it. After I got out of the Army, my transition back to the civilian world was pretty tough. It was a little bit challenging. My first job was probably the fact that I took on my 3 children as a single father. Coming back from Iraq, and it was a hard road, hard to find a job for a while, but that was enough for me. It was rewarding for a while, and then I picked up a job at doing hard landscaping at a place called Father Nature, and that entails building decks, deck retainer walls, planting trees of that nature, you know, pretty hard work. After I did that, I went out to Alaska and worked out on the fishing boat for 2 months. 16-hour days, 7 days a week, and a lot of very cold. Came back with frostbite in all my fingertips, but I finished my contract because I said I would. So willpower was there, perseverance. Beat that. Not going to do that again. Doctors told me not to. I then later did a few other jobs, but the one that stood out the most was the one I'm at now, working for Sustainable Living Innovations. It's truly incredible what we're doing here. I really am excited about it from the time that I first stepped in the building. To know that we're doing something that is truly groundbreaking, you know? I'm excited to see this building finally be assembled here at 303 Battery. I can't wait. I'm so proud to be here, so proud to be working with the groups that I work with in different veins. And I definitely want to make this my career. I love it here. Thank you.
Jeremy, thanks for sharing a little bit of your story. Our heart goes out to you and your sons. I was a single father down the street, by the way, early in my life. Let's talk a little bit about what it means to be the world's first high-rise multifamily net zero apartment building. The International Living Future Institute, IFLI, is a not-for-profit based company here in Seattle but operates globally. They have a program called the Living Building Challenge, and this building is part of that program. This building is 100% electric, powered by solar power, no gas, no fossil fuels to operate it. The building has battery storage in the basement, so we can save some of the energy that we make during the day. And that's just the beginning. This building has 5,000 internet data points in it, and we will collect more data on the built environment than has been done before. That data will allow us to improve our products, improve our systems, and do even better. We couldn't have got to this point without two really important partners. The first is Equity Residential Trust. EQR is a company that owns and manages hundreds of buildings across America and tens of thousands of apartment buildings. They own the Moda building next door, and they've agreed to buy this building when it's complete. That's a huge commitment on their part, and we wouldn't have been able to finance this building and pull together the rest of the process without their commitment. So thank you, EQR. They're here today. The other important partner we have is Goldman Sachs. They're not here today, but they're our construction lender. And as you can imagine, it takes a lot of capital to build a 15-story building, but it takes a lot of grit to finance one that's never been done before. And Goldman's been with us from the beginning of 303, and they're standing tall as we work our way through this process. And we're super excited. So thank you, Goldman Sachs. Now to our next guest speaker, Dow Constantine, King County Executive. Throughout his entire career, Dow has been an environmental leader. Just last month, King County Council unanimously adopted his Strategic Climate Action Plan, a 5-year blueprint for deep carbon reductions in King County. Building energy use in our region is the second largest source of greenhouse gas emissions. His plan sets a goal that new buildings will achieve a 70% reduction in energy consumption by 2031. Well, Dow, we got it going today, buddy. We got it. 2022, you're going to have the first one. Please join me in welcoming King County Executive Dow Constantine.
Well, thank you, Arlen. And I got to say, I am seeing so many familiar faces here I haven't seen in person for well over a year. I could get way off script. I want to first, I was talking with Arlen. He was talking about living up the street here when he was a younger man. I lived just about 3 blocks that direction on this street, managed an apartment building to help put myself through law school and graduate school in urban planning. And I was telling him I had to do a study of this street all the way from the Space Needle to the Bon Marché, door by door, examining the urban fabric of this street. And boy, is it changing today. It is remarkable to see the transformation in our city. And before I actually get on script, I also want to recognize one of the familiar faces in this crowd. This woman was my deputy executive, and she was also my wingman, my partner, as we put together the coalition and then the funding and then the plan and then the campaign that led to Sound Transit 3, our three-county regional high-capacity all-electric transit system, which will also have a new stop right down the street here. Rachel Smith, the CEO and president of the chamber. They stole her from me. It's okay, it's all forgiven. I'm really excited to be here, truly, for this historic day for sustainable living innovations in our region. As Arlen mentioned, we recently updated our comprehensive strategic climate action plan. It establishes ambitious goals, but necessary goals to sharply reduce carbon emissions countywide and equitably rebuild our economy. And that is a key, that we need to have a robust economy, and it needs to be one where every person has the opportunity to participate and to thrive. Now, let me tell you why it's so important to have King County residents living in net zero energy buildings, in walkable communities where you have a light rail station a few blocks that way and a few blocks that way, just like this building will be. Well, you know, just this week, scientists from Scripps and from NOAA said that the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has reached 419 parts per million. That is the highest level recorded in 4 million years. So we really must take action, and take action now, to reduce emissions and to limit the worst impacts of climate change. And high-performance buildings are absolutely key, essential, indispensable to making that happen. In King County, buildings are the second largest contributor, and just barely second, the second largest contributor to climate change. 46% of all locally sourced greenhouse gas emissions were associated with residential and commercial buildings in the latest inventory. And listen to this, approximately 2/3 of the buildings that will be standing in the county in 2050 will have been built between 2007, 14 years ago, and 2050, 29 years from now. That is to say, a big chunk of the built environment problem does not yet exist. It is a problem we do not need to create. It can be avoided with innovative buildings like this one. Our Strategic Climate Action Plan is committed to partnering with cities, including Seattle, to achieve a 70% reduction in energy consumption in new buildings by 2031. And this project, 303 Battery, is leading the way to a net zero future for multifamily housing. Now, as we invest in taking on carbon emissions and taking them out of our built environment, we will create living wage jobs. Living wage jobs like you heard about today. We will expand opportunity, expand prosperity. I was so impressed to hear Jeremy's story today. And you know, projects like this one tackle climate change while providing jobs to, that are really key to our region's future. We have it within our power to create a community where every single person truly does have the opportunity to thrive. There is enough economic activity, enough prosperity. We have enough going on. We just need to be purposeful about connecting every person, every family, including those who've been purposely left behind, to the economic story to come. We can do it. So I'm excited to be here to mark this occasion. I applaud the staff and the leadership at Sustainable Living Innovations for showing the rest of the country and the world how to build back better for a more sustainable and more equitable future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dow. Really important message, really important goal, and really important things we have to accomplish. And we need to do it quickly, as Dow mentioned. And thank you, Dow, for all the things you've done for our community and continue to do. Before I introduce our next speaker, we need to do some more thank yous. You're probably figuring out the drill, right? And a lot of these thank yous go to the city of Seattle. I want to acknowledge Deborah Smith. She's not here today, but Greg Smith with Seattle City Light is here. It's important to know that, you know, these buildings are being powered differently, and it takes people who will step into that space and help make that happen. Also, I wanted to acknowledge Nathan Torkelson and the entire staff at Seattle Department of Construction and Inspection. There's a long story about this building system in the city of Seattle, and Nathan's team has been our partner every day for the last 12 years. We couldn't have done it without them. Michelle Caulfield's here today. She runs the Office of Sustainability and the Environment, and her department is leading the city's decarbonization plans. I also want to acknowledge 3 people from the Office of Housing: Emily Alvarado, Lori Olson, and Jerome Burns. We work with those folks every day. We're pretty excited about what's happened there. We're working with the Office of Housing on 2 permanent supportive housing projects. We're fortunate to be teamed up with the DESC and the Chief Seattle Club, and our technology is helping our neighbors experiencing homelessness. Thank you to Emily and Lori for being visionary and giving us a shot to help. We're not going to let you down. And thanks to DESC, Daniel Malone, Sandra Nielsen, and thank you to Chief Seattle Club, Colleen Echohawk, Derek Belgard, and Michelle Moreland. Thank you. Not only is our technology building permanent supportive housing, but we're especially proud of the fact that 303 Battery is helping solve the affordable housing crisis. Nearly 25% of the apartments, 27 apartments out of our 112 apartments in 303 Battery will be income restricted. All of the support from city agencies would not be possible without the leadership of Mayor Jenny Durkan. Through her legislation, energy code, and policy direction, Mayor Durkan is putting Seattle on a course to decarbonize the built environment of our city. As she released the 2018 Climate Action Plan, Mayor Durkan said, "Here in Seattle, we don't wait for others to tell us what our future is going to look like. We create it." We couldn't agree more, and we're grateful for her leadership. Please join me in welcoming Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan.
Well, hello and thank you for being here. I want to thank all our partners. I want to thank all the parts of the city of Seattle. But I'm not going to blow by where we are first and pretend that we haven't been through the hardest 15 months this city's ever been through. And just to see people in person, many without masks, that shows that Seattle always shows up. We're showing up here today, I'm going to talk about, but yesterday, with the great partnership I had with Dow Constantine, Seattle King County Public Health, our healthcare providers, volunteers, our community-based organizations, particularly those led by people of color, Seattle was the first in the nation to reach 70% of people 12 and over fully vaccinated. And almost 80% of Seattle residents 12 and older have started their first dose. That's what recovery starts to look like, and this is what recovery starts to look like. Seattle has always been the most innovative city anywhere. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the mayor of Seattle, I'm saying it because it's the truth. And as one of the mayors that is elected to the North American leadership for the climate mayors, I couldn't be more proud of where we are today and where we're standing. And I want to also thank Emily, Nathan, and all of the people in the city of Seattle, because we laid down a climate challenge, not just for us as a city, but for those departments to say, when I came in as mayor, affordable housing took about 3 to 3.5 years to build, and as much as $300,000 a unit. Oops, too high, too low? Nope. The wind. There's no wind in Seattle. It's a breeze. And we said we got to get it cheaper. We have to have a city where people can afford to live. We've got to make sure our frontline essential workers, our communities of color can afford to stay and live in Seattle. We got to help people experiencing homelessness, and we can do it in a climate-friendly way. And then I talked to Dennis Hayes at the Bullitt Center, who said, why can't we build more buildings like ours that are net zero? So we went to work with the partners here today, and what we're doing will be so disruptive and groundbreaking, not just in this region, but nationally and internationally. It is going to be one of the most amazing buildings and most amazing projects anywhere. And Seattle's going to put it to work in other places. As he mentioned, we're going to put it to work for affordable housing, but permanent supportive housing with great partnerships we have with DESC and the Chief Seattle Club, who themselves know we need to build more, faster, permanent supportive housing because it works. And because the great cities of the world do what their people need, and that's what we need. So I want to thank them for that partnership as well. We have to do more quicker, but this shows us how we can do it. This is not just going to be a proof of concept. It's going to be a model of innovation. A model of innovation for our city and for the nation to show we actually can have a high-rise that is climate friendly, that does not take from the grid, that does not use fossil fuels, and that also provides an anchor for a community and housing for the people that live there that's affordable. That is really the vision of the future. And this vision kept going through the pandemic. People didn't stop. People kept going, planning on how to build this, continuing on so many of the projects we're doing so that when we come out of this pandemic, we're in the best position to make this city better, more just, and more equitable. And the only way we answer that and the demands of our earth and the climate is to really do more projects like this. So I want to thank all of the partners on this. It really is a historic day for our city. It's a historic day to show that we take climate change very seriously in Seattle. We showed we believe in science, and this is another way to show we believe in science. So thank you to all the partners for everything we're doing. It's going to be a great project here. I just want to say the county executive talked about how he mapped out every block here. My guess is the two bells got a little bit more study, but I'm not saying anything. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Durkan. We appreciate not only your comments, but everything you've done for our community as we've struggled through the pandemic. A couple of final thank yous, and we'll get you on your way. We wouldn't be here today without our investors. We have world-class investors who put a lot of faith in our ideas and in our team. And in our company. We've got a lot of big ideas to accomplish, so thank you to all of you for support. Your support means the world to us. To IFLI, EQR, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan, who are partners in getting these buildings done, thank you. Our supply chain partners, Supreme Steel, Swinnerton, Stantec, Wood Harbinger, Berger Electric, and University Mechanical, thank you. I'd like to thank my wife, Teresa. She's been here every step of the way through the birth of this company. We've laughed and we've cried. We've probably cried more than we laughed. And we're still married last time I checked, so hopefully that continues. The one last thought, I would like to, again, thank Dow Constantine and Mayor Durkan for their attendance. I'd like to plant one more seed with you as we embark on building this building. At SLI, we believe that the world becomes a better place one person at a time. And when one person helps another person, in that moment, the world is a better place. We want everyone that we can touch with this company to actually be better off. The people that work for us, the people that live in these buildings, the people that own these buildings, so when their time comes, they can help others who are less fortunate than them. It all starts by helping each other. That's a really big piece of what we're trying to do here, and we're going to try and help as many people as we can along the way. And with that, I'd like to say thank you for attending today's event. We're super excited to get this building underway. Thank you.